Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and today I'm going to do an update on my review of Candid Pro. I actually had a really great conversation today with Brian Gainey, who is head of sales, VP of sales at Candid, and he gave me permission to go ahead and make this video. I've known Brian for years and years and years. He was head territory regional manager of my state way back when with Invisalign, and then he was with Carbon. I was doing some stuff with them, checking some stuff out, and now he's with Candid, which to me gives a lot of credibility. So let's take a step back. You may have seen some of my other videos on Candid and some of the other videos are super irrelevant at this point because they've made a super sharp pivot to a different direction, to the non-DTC, direct to consumer, more doctor facing direction, but it's kind of a hybrid model, and it's definitely a model I'm super familiar with. Most of you know that I was part of the startup team of smiledirectclub way back when. I was only with them for the first 2 years. Love me, hate me, whatever, don't care. Left them in 2016, so haven't been involved with them in any way since then, but I still maintain some good relationships with team members. We're pretty cool. They're nice to me, I'm nice to them. There's been a lot of other aligner companies who have tried to get me to join up with them. Some tried and failed. Some were not nice. I'm not going to name them. So I know this space backwards and forwards, especially this kind of hybrid space, which I'm going to explain to you. And I think Candid is actually doing a good job at it compared to everyone else that's doing it. So I'm going to kind of go through some of the talking points. I have a bunch of notes here. Not going to fully reinvent the wheel, so you definitely should watch my most recent video if you want to understand it more. But some stuff I didn't know, so I'm going to go ahead and share it with you. Okay, so let's talk about the model. So Candid no longer does direct-to-consumer aligners. Boom, gone, out the door. So in order to get Candid aligners, you need to go to one of their Candid studios. They no longer own and operate independent studios. You may have seen I did a blog way back when, a couple years ago, where I went to one of their studios, which I thought was actually very nice, in San Francisco. I had really nothing negative to say about that experience. So that's gone. Now all their studios are basically dentist offices who happen, for the most part, to have scanners. And some of their dentists might be orthodontists, some might be dentists that have zero aligner experience. It doesn't matter who you are and your level of experience, they're glad to have you as part of their partner network, and there's benefits either way. So let's talk about that. So patient goes ahead and schedules at one of the centers. You can come on in, you can get a scan, get photos taken, get an x-ray taken. Very much not unlike what you would do with Invisalign or any other type of aligner. You get a full evaluation, a total dental clearance. Not sure if there's a cost for that or if that's included. I forgot to ask that part. I'm thinking it might be free, but not exactly sure. The way they describe this is that it is basically a comprehensive solution. So sure, they can do anterior movement, but for the most part, they're on board with comprehensive orthodontics. Comprehensive orthodontics means moving all teeth, not just the front 6 teeth, not just the social 6, which I like, of course. There's a time and a place for social 6 movements. I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's not for everybody. And a lot of people are interested in moving all teeth, so that's cool. The other thing that they do differently in their mechanics is that they use sequential movements, not en masse movements. And that might not be something you're familiar with if you're not an orthodontist, but we talk about this in orthodontics all the time. I highly respect that. That's how I do my treatment plans. That means moving teeth one tooth at a time, not trying to just push and slam the whole arch back, because it generally doesn't work very well. And also doesn't look that good. So I'm super excited to hear that. Basically, cases are submitted and the dentist can elect to use the orthodontists that they have on their in-house team as advisors. And actually, to be honest, I mean, if you look at it this way, it's actually a direct competitor to my own company, which is Straightsmile Solutions. No, I don't manufacture any aligners at all, but I do offer orthodontic coaching, which is part of what they do as well. So yes, they are a competitor to me in a different way, but I still think it's a great solution. So I have no problem telling what they're doing and explaining to you what they're doing, because it might be, maybe Straightsmile Solutions isn't a good fit for you. Maybe you're looking for someone to feed you patients, which is essentially what they're doing. They're going to funnel you patients. instead of you only doing your own patient. So maybe it is a good fit for you. And you always have the option. I mean, perhaps a patient comes in who doesn't have their own general dentist. If you are a general dentist, you might be able to do the general dentistry, which is cool. You know, that's a patient for life, potentially a hygiene patient for life. So there's definitely a value. There is no cost to join the Candid network. And I don't know that they say no to anyone. They didn't really say how they're chosen. I mean, certainly I think it would make more sense if you had a scanner. They are scanner agnostic, meaning unlike Invisalign, they'll accept any scanner that is a licensed FDA approved scanner in the US. So you have a Medit, you have a 3Shape, great, you can use it. Can't do that with Invisalign in the US. So that's great. So certainly if I were them, I'd be finding out, getting the database of all the 3Shape scanners, all the Medit scanners, all the Huron scanners, etc., and going after those doctors, because a lot of those doctors are pretty pissed off that they can't use their scanners with Invisalign anymore, and I would be too. So, Invisalign didn't make a smart move on that, in my opinion. What else? Yes, the help is there. If you know nothing about orthodontics, you can use the resources. I don't think it costs anything more for you to have an advisor. I mean, of course, Invisalign does that too with their Invisalign Pro. But remember, their Invisalign Pro advisors are not licensed in the US, as far as I know. They are Costa Rican orthodontists. Some are good, some aren't. I've had some terrible advice from some of them when I've sat in on some of the sessions, and some are good. But I believe all the Candid advisors are US licensed orthodontists, like myself. I give advice on aligners as well. That's pretty cool. And they are really knowledgeable about airway. That is huge. I really like that they have airway-friendly treatment plans when needed, if that is a concern for you. In addition, let's see, we talked about all that. So they like to talk about themselves as orthodontics as a service. It is there. You know, if you want the help, it's there for those cases, right? They're not going to help you on your Invisalign case, and they're not going to help you on your braces case, and they're not going to help you on your phase 1 interceptive case, but they'll help you on the Candid case if that's what you want help on. In terms of billing and price point, it's going to work very similar to how it works with ClearCorrect or Invisalign. If you decide to take the case, you're going to pay a lab fee. Your lab fee is about $1,200. There may or may not be volume discounts. I forgot to ask about that, but that would make sense if you do a lot, that it comes down a little bit. But still, $1,200 is $700 less than I'm paying for a comprehensive solution with Invisalign, and about $500 less than I pay for a comprehensive solution with ClearCorrect. Yes, it's about a Sure Smile or Reveal price, but those might be promo prices. I don't know if they're staying that way, and they're not feeding you any patients or giving you advice. So I still think it's definitely, a value. As far as what fee you want to charge the patient, that's really up to you. They don't get involved in that. They said average is about $3,000 to $3,500, obviously a little bit more than SmileDirectClub and a lot less than most doctors are charging for Invisalign. And remember, this is a comprehensive solution. This is not Social 6. So always good to know that. You're going to pay that lab fee. So let's say you are charging $3,000, you're going to net $1,800. It does include, as well, it includes one set of retainers. It is not a separate set of retainers. It's in the box. So it's made off the last aligner. Not my favorite idea. I guess if you want to make additional retainers, that part I think they could work on. If I were them, I'd create, just for feedback, a different retention module. I don't think that's the best choice. But I mean, it wouldn't be a Straightsmile Solutions review if I didn't give criticism or feedback. So if I were them, hint, 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 I would work on that. I don't love that part of it. But sure, you can make your own retainers, but that's going to probably be an additional cost. What else? Let's see. Not all cases are candidates for Candid aligners. They will help screen your patient, and they'll let you know if they think it's a candidate for their type of aligners. Remember, their aligners on the front end do not have attachments or IPR or extractions. So, but they are a thicker material. They're using a high quality material, which is Zendura FLX is the one I recommend if you're doing in-house aligners. I believe it's the same material ClearCorrect's using, although ClearCorrect owns Bay Materials and it's been rebranded, but that's what my sources have said. Don't know, can't confirm or deny that. Their trim line is higher, so you don't need attachments in all cases. Of course, if you need a major extrusion on number 10, upper left 2, something like that, it's probably not going to happen with these aligners, or a major open bite case or something like that. So you have to kind of pick your cases wisely. However, they will also help you if you're not sure, to make sure it's a reliable case. However, they did say if you get to the end of the set of aligners, patient's not getting what they need, as needed, they can integrate bells and whistles like attachments, IPR, to help finish the case. So it can be implemented, of course. It's not an additional expense to the patient. That's all included. But it is time that's taken out of your schedule, and the margins are a little bit slim on this, on the cases. So you'd really want to pick your case very wisely for this type of aligner system. And of course, you want to pick a really compliant patient. You are the treatment planning doctor. So unlike SmileDirectClub Partner Network, you are the treatment planning doctor. It's your office, it's you. And it's being billed under your insurance, and you're dealing with collections of insurance. So if there's a problem, it's on you. That's okay, nothing wrong with that. But it's nice to know that you have support and help to help you with case selection and optimizing the treatment plan and stuff like that if you want it. If you are an orthodontist or a doctor with tons of experience, you can basically tell them what you want, not unlike work with the technicians, not unlike what you already do. You can have full control over that. They're not gonna override what you say or anything like that. In addition, there's a couple extra special things that they do. It does include what they call Candid monitoring, which is a version of dental monitoring, which is really expensive normally. So I think that's pretty cool. And the scan box that comes with it. So the fact that it comes with that is really awesome. Once you deliver the aligners, they're basically going to take it from there. They're going to be remote monitoring your patient. You're going to have access to see the check-ins. Patients shouldn't need to come back into the office unless they need a revision or refinement. If there are it's basically a triangle. It's a partnership between the patient, Candid, and yourself. Each of you have your own specific responsibilities. So it's much less, if you're not already in aligners in your practice, you don't have to worry about training your whole team, because guess what? All those type of questions like, oh, should I change aligners? This isn't fitting right. This is uncomfortable. This trim is bugging me. I lost my aligner. All those customer service questions go through Candid Corporate, which is available 24 hours a day. And that's one less thing that your team has to deal with. You just tell them, hey, all your concerns, questions go through Candid. Ultimately, you still the licensed doctor. So if there's a problem and a tooth is infected or something like that, it's going to go to you. The patient would have that treatment done, an additional fee. Of course, if you are an orthodontist, then the patient will go back to their general dentist to get that done. But it's cool that they have the Candid monitoring. And the Candid monitoring, unlike some other monitoring companies, does have AI. Obviously, DM, if you've watched some of my videos on DM, it's been a while since I've done it. They have an AI-based one and a non-AI-based one. The difference between Candid monitoring and, say, Invisalign Virtual is that has no AI. This does have AI. So they are able to sync the Candid monitoring to your actual Candid treatment plan, which is huge. And it's going to basically say if you're tracking or not. So that is really, really, really cool. And that feature within dental monitoring, if you chose to opt into that, is crazy expensive. So personally, would I use this? I actually, and we have a practice and we're about to get some more, myself and my husband. I actually might do this, believe it or not. I never thought I'd say this, but I actually might do this. So I'm on the fence on this, and I'm going to talk to my husband a little bit more about this, about the risks and benefits. To me, it seems more like benefits than risks. There's no quota, which was my first question, to stay in the partner network. I guess obviously, if you're not doing what you need to do, they're probably not going to be feeding you patients. So, that's that. If I were them, that's how I would do things. They didn't say that. That's out of my mouth, not out of theirs. They just basically said there's no quota, there's no risk. It's, the responsibility is no different than you already do with your existing aligner patients if you're doing them. If you need help, they're there to help you, which is cool. Competes with me, but that's okay. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The customer service, the scan box, you can pick your own price point. So if you're in New York and you're like, I'm not doing $3,000, that's going to tank me. You're going to do $4,000. If your regular Invisalign is $6,000. And yeah, you're more than welcome to do your own ortho on the side. And if they do feed you a patient, it's not one of your patients, and you don't think it's a good patient for Candid, just give your reasons, and then you can convert that patient into an Invisalign patient if that's what the patient wants. From my experience working with this kind of patients though, I'm just going to tell you, this is just my personal experience because I have worked for a direct-to-consumer aligner company before. A lot of times these patients are coming in looking for that $3,000, $3,500 price point. So if you are doing a bait and switch, they're going to get mad. So, unless you have a valid reason. Obviously the patient has 10 millimeters of crowding and an anterior open bite. Well, no, okay, that's not going to happen with Candid aligners. There's no way. So, in that case, you have to explain the why. Maybe you're going to refer them out. Maybe you're going to treat them with a different braces or a different aligner company if that's something that you're doing. But to me, pretty cool stuff ultimately. And I was actually surprisingly shocked at how my response would be. And I am considering joining the Candid Pro network. No, I am not a KOL. I get no kickbacks, no nothing for saying that. Zero, nothing. They do nothing for me. So, you know, if I told you I was thinking about doing something, it's probably because it's something good. And that's pretty much what I can say. So I was pleasantly surprised. Let's put it that way. So yes, this is a favorable review of Candid Pro. Enjoy it because it's very rare that I say something favorable like this. Obviously, I asked them if I could see some outcomes, but you know, having worked at SmileDirectClub, I can tell you that, yeah, this does work when you pick the right case. I've seen lots of favorable outcomes. Obviously, you have to pick the right cases, number one. The treatment plan has to be done right. And you also have to have a very compliant patient. So 3 things all have to align. Everyone has to do their jobs. If all jobs are not done, you're not going to have a good outcome, right? I've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of amazing SmileDirectClub outcomes. I've never really seen a Candid outcome because I've never worked with them, right? So, and I never had access to their records. So, but I mean, I know it'll work if everything's done right. And it sounds like they're really picking cases wisely. I mean, really carefully. And I really like what they're doing, and their accountability loop sounds great. So I'm kind of excited for this. I'm definitely looking forward to watch this a little bit more. And oh, some of you asked about geographic exclusivity. No, they didn't say no. They gave me a vague answer on that. They said there isn't really any, but it's not off the table, is what they said. So I guess it's one of those things that maybe it could be negotiated. I don't know how you would negotiate. Maybe, I mean, if I owned this company, I would do it based on volume. If you had enough volume, sure, I'm gonna give you geographic exclusivity, definitely. You know, so the guy down the street cannot be a Candid scan shop, you know? Smart. So a lot of you are interested in creating scan shops, this is like a turnkey scan shop. And if you're a general dentist, this is a no-brainer to me. I mean, especially if you already own some type of scanner. And especially if you have a scanner that's not an iTero, it's an extra no-brainer because, you know, it's just sitting there gathering dust. If you're not already doing a ton of ortho, why not? Why not use the resources that they provide? So, awesome. Super excited to be following this a little bit more. And thanks so much for those of you who nudged me to contact them. All right. And thanks to Brian Gainey for letting me interview him today. Take care.